Let's stay with our theme in schools. Now, in the Western Cape, schools are set to reopen next Wednesday, and there seems to be some anxiety with placements. Of course, independent schools have opened, some of them. Now, Parents for Equal Education South Africa are concerned that come next week, some pupils will still be left out in the cold. And this, of course, is concerns around those who may be looking for space right now continue to mount. Now, the province has also embarked on a process to build more classrooms to accommodate this particular need. So how far is this project? Let's get a view now from the parents. Let's speak to Parents for Equal Education South Africa founder Vanessa Le Roux. Vanessa, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. We're hearing, of course, of some challenges with placements in provinces like Gauteng and provinces like Mpumalanga. I wonder how things are looking in the Western Cape from a parent's point of view.
Hi, good day, and good day to your listeners. At this point, I'm extremely worried about what's happening in the Western Cape, because clearly the WCD is playing for the gallery and they are not truthful. And it's actually an insult to us as the community and as parents when they come up with these lies. As I said yesterday to someone, each and every year we have this problem. The only way we can address this problem is building new schools, and that's not what's happening in the Western Cape. They've now have an alternative which they call mobile classes, which is also a safety risk. But I think the WCD is exploiting the desperation of parents by building a second-class schools. Like I call it squatter schools, because there's no space for children to breathe and play. They fill it with mobile classes. And this morning I heard an interview where Bruno Casey said that I'm accusing them. And we must really be truthful and look at the numbers at this point. And this is not what I see. This is the statements that they've put out. Lately, they send out statements and break it down to percentages. However, we're asking percentage of what? And if I look at the stats, and I'm being moderate when I'm looking at this, because we know in our township schools you don't get classes less than 40 learners per class. And there in November, they've said they are going to build 842 new classrooms. And I would believe that they would have made a risk assessment and a needs assessment. And based on that, equal to 40 learners per class, we were sitting with 33,680 learners that was not placed. And at this point, this is their figures, not mine. And I'm keeping it moderate because I know, for instance, last year, educators would say in foundation phase, they sat into up to 70 learners in one class.
And Vanessa,
so, yes.
Pardon me for coming in and interrupting you there. Let's talk about then this process of building, because last year they spoke about, schools being full, and they're now making a plan, an accelerated plan, which is to try and accommodate those pupils that would not have space. This construction, you say that it's second-class schools, but is there any construction at all right now that is happening to accommodate even the larger numbers that you are now picking up are also going to be left out in the cold?
They said they start building they've built throughout the holidays. However, 2 days ago, their statement to the media was that 500 out, the builders tried, but 510 classes will only be handed over by the end of January. And if I'm looking at the calculations and still working on 40 learners per class, then the start of the academic year, 20,400 children won't be in school. They will only be in school by the end of January. The other 168 classes will only be handed over by March, which is 6,720 if we work on the moderate calculations. Yeah. So when the academic year starts next week, 27,120 learners won't be placed. And they have this narrative that is people from the Eastern Cape. And we must squash this narrative, because these people, these learners, had the result by outcomes of the applications by June already.
So if you can allow me to come in there, then it means if what you are saying is then correct, what the department has been saying, that it's put under pressure by some of the parents who are choosing to apply late. I suppose then when I'm listening to you, you're not convinced by that argument.
No, it's not. Because these people, they've made these assessments prior to late applications, because late applications is now December, January. This is the statements in November already when they made their risk assessments. And parents already got their results or an answer about the applications in June. So how can it be the late applications? How can it be learners from the Eastern Cape? And that is the narrative that we must squash, because that prevents us from holding the WCD accountable for children that is from the Western Cape.
And let's talk about accountability. What is it going to look like then when schools reopen next week, particularly at the back of the fact that you're saying some 27,120 learners may not be able to be in class come next week. What does that accountability look like for you?
At this point, we are saying parents must unite, because this can't be a continuous problem because for over if I'm just looking at the moderate calculations that we make, and it's an insult that they think that we can't count. We must really get up and hold them legally accountable. We must test the Constitution on this, because this can't be happening each and every year. And each and every year, there is thousands of learners that doesn't attend the school for an academic year. Because the MEC at this point is saying they didn't place, it is only 1% of learners that haven't been placed. So I'm asking, what does that 1% looks like? So what are you saying? You are done now. There's no more space. You're not going to place this 1%. What are you saying to us as the community?
So Vanessa, let's see then what happens next week and touch base with yourselves and see if it is indeed a correct projection that you're making, that these 27,120 learners will not be in school, or is the number going up, or will it be going down? Let's then speak to you next week when schools reopen. Do appreciate your time this afternoon. That was Parents for Equal Education South Africa founder Vanessa Le Roux.